Henry VIII, bit of a reply guy.
He's hitting models with lines from books, then going, that's from a book.
Yeah, that's from
Can
a
you
fucking
read?
book. We going out?
Do you own a printing press?
Like, people always talk about how he killed his wives, but they don't talk about how he got his wives. You know what I mean? So, like, he's a bit of a Chad. He's got, like, this Alex Jones, like, you know, fat, strong body that I think...
Yeah.
I'm actually, since I started watching, like, The Sopranos, you know, being fat and strong is hard.
So there's this very popular test online. It's called the Political Compass Test, and basically...
Fucked!
But I don't know. It's been a minute, everybody. I was in Fiji. There was a cyclone.
What's that
cool.
like?
Dude, you know, it gets
just a lot of rain.
Hate. How was your New Year's, Christmas, all that?
It was good, except for the part where Boulder, Colorado burnt down. Or Boulder
Oh,
County.
yeah. Shout out to Colts.
And as part of the stream, I will recommend that viewers, if you want to donate some money, you can just Google Colorado Fire donations or whatever, and there's a website. Other than that, it was great. Yeah. I mean, I feel like my Christmas vacation in Colorado, I just shut down my brain for like full 2 weeks. Didn't think about comedy at all. Came back to New York City. Everyone's got COVID, so left the apartment twice in a week. It's good. We be chilling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody's got COVID. That's kind of the topical nature of this chart.
This is like March 2020 in severity, but this time there's no rules.
Dude, it's like Fast and the Furious like 9 or whatever, when it's barely about cars anymore and there's just like aliens and stuff.
We're not cheering for healthcare workers. We're not debating working.
Dude, I'm out there punching health.
Exactly. I'm like, dude, fuck nurses. Wouldn't it be crazy if right then I got a veggie straw stuck in my throat and then I had to go to the hospital and then all the beds were taken up from COVID and they had to turn me away and then I died in the street? And my last words were, fuck nurses.
That's kind of how I want to go out, through some sort of... I want to die extremely proudly. That should be an axis. Proud death versus noble death. Or like proud death versus, I guess, meekly perishing. Is what my brain came up with.
I would hate to meekly perish. Yeah, I feel like, dude, you can't meekly perish. Honestly, if I don't quote unquote make it, I gotta have a proud death. You think I'm not gonna make it and have a meek death? No way. I'm not gonna meekly perish.
Yeah, Mishima, that author and that guy, he tried to stage a coup and it didn't work in Japan. He was like an actor and a model and an author. He tried to stage a coup and so it didn't work. So he just committed seppuku. I mean, that's a pretty proud death, dude.
It's fucking badass. That's how you want to go.
Through a failed coup.
Yeah, if I'm going, it's in a blaze of glory on the steps of the U.S. Capitol.
Dude, that's it. If January 6th, at the end of it, everyone killed themselves in a ceremonial fashion, those guys were honorable as fuck. I think their underlying politics is off, but why? Explain how they're so honorable.
Dude, imagine them fucking going out 47 Ronin style. Yeah. Just they get to the Capitol, they storm it, Nancy Pelosi isn't there, so they all commit ritual suicide. Oh my god.
Yeah, the ritual suicide of tasing themselves in the balls. So let's get into today's episode. If this this is your first time watching, this is Fixing the Political Compass. We take your authoritarian, libertarian, left, right, and we throw that in the garbage can. We let that wither away meekly, and instead we replace it with accurate, objective, revealed truths of that are relevant to our material existence. Like, are historical figures reply guys or lurkers? Are they super spreaders or lockdowns? What's their reaction to Twitter? What's their reaction to COVID-19 is what they're calling it. every episode, we get closer and closer to fixing not only the political compass, but fixing politics in general. Mm-hmm. And we have a bit of a laugh along the way. You know, Maxim didn't want to do that. He wanted to have it a serious show. This is what I said to him. I grabbed him by the shoulder and I said, you know what we need right now? The world needs to laugh.
You actually pitched the name of the show as Fixing the Political Cum Ass. And I said, no. We got to tone it down a little bit.
And then I honked a horn and rode out of your apartment on a, penny farthing.
And speaking of riding a penny farthing bicycle, give it up for our first guest cruising into the town square, Alex.
Dude, so first of all, straight up, lockdown, like insane lockdowner. I've locked down before when there's been no mandate. I'm fine. I like love that. I have a proud agoraphobic lifestyle when I can. There's something about my body that like thinks outside is unnecessary about 90% of the time. I do love going outside and like doing huge things, but I'd prefer to do it in intense bouts, like almost voyages. I think I would have fucked up a village back in the day, just being like in like, you know, your house and just around your village sort of doing tasks. And then occasionally you're called to a voyage, to a journey. That's my lifestyle. I'm very locked down. I'm fine with the lockdowns, no qualms there.
You're like a true Bilbo.
Yeah. Other than comedy, which is like annoying for that. But there have been times when I've just been home and comedy. So yeah, I'm here. And then, dude, I'm also a lurker. Like this, I don't think I give across this vibe, but I'm a lockdown lurker for sure. Like I'm in this corner. I don't even really get Twitter. Occasionally, though, I do just leave like strange comments that are like very stream of consciousness, like on a TikTok or something. I'm definitely bottom right. I'm a comedy Bilbo. Thank you. I feel comfortable here. And also, if you'll notice in the chart, I've created my own nook. You know, I've actually even managed to be a lockdown lurker within this. And I'm going to make myself a tiny bit smaller, just a little bit smaller, so you know I'm lurking there.
Nice. That's a good placement. I don't think your next guest is going to be too far off. Everyone, please give it up for me. Full lurker. I am such a lurker. Okay, by Reddit history, I've had a Reddit account for like 10 years. I made one post in 2014, and then I made like 3 or 4 posts this year, and that's it. There's like a gap in my resume. You know what that whole time was? That was just lurking.
Dude, Maxim's lurking you on socials you didn't even know you had. He's like on your mom's Pinterest and like just aware of socials. But like this year is in 2022 though. Like you just like New Year's resolution was to
end of 2021. But
yeah,
like you know, I like reading Reddit all the time. But like finally, I got some hobbies. I don't know what happened. Something flipped in my brain where now I feel like I want to participate in a discussion about my hobbies. Dude, I commented on a YouTube video yesterday. This guy made a video about using a GoPro as a webcam, and I was like, yo, mine's got a really bad input delay. And he replied, and we had a conversation. I was like, this is crazy. I've never lurked outside of the lurker zone. I'd like rarely comment or anything.
I think the thing there is I always like thought that with like YouTube or anything like that, I never expected the immediacy of the reply, and so I just never thought it was worth it.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to care about this in a week when they get back to me. But the other thing is I'm on like a lot of Discord servers as well, just to like I don't know why, because I literally don't know how people keep up with that shit.
Dude, Discord's a new one for me too, and aside from like one group, I lurk so hard. I just watch the messages scroll by with no context, and I'm like, what is going on? Post a picture or something.
Yeah, so much reading.
So I will say I'm like maybe a little bit less lurk than you, just a hair. I am putting myself left of you because I'm very locked down. However, I have participated in some super spreader behavior in the last year or two. For instance, riding a train from New York City to Denver and back during Omicron spike.
That's a super spreader. That's a super spreader.
That's a super spreader behavior. And believe it or not, the day after we got back, my girlfriend tested positive for COVID. Yeah, a little bit of super spreader behavior for me. So
I feel that. No, I get that. And like Thank you for the accountability and honesty here. That's what this, without accountability, honesty, I strive for truth. We can't reach the political goals we have. And we all sound like boomers? What? Is it boomers?
Here's my take on Discord, okay? My boomer take on Discord is most of you who are serious into Discord need to go outside. Like, you need to go do something else. Like, if you know the ins and outs of Discord, you goofed. You did something wrong. There was a diverging of the paths somewhere.
I don't know, dude. We're not better than that.
It's Discord, just fancy IRC. What kind of comment is that? Yeah, get out of the basement. Dude, it's just phone freaking, but without telephones.
That's what podcasting is.
Yeah. Actually, my podcast is all done in chiptune and circuit bending. I make voices. That's how the voices happen. And speaking about people who got out of the basement, see, this person doesn't use Discord. This person writes letters. Angela Merkel.
She's sending. Angela Merkel gives the vibe of someone who's like on a flip phone, just pressing these buttons hard. You know, like she's like, wait 1 second, and like she's got the flip phone, and it's like. And she's like there for 45 seconds. Dude, how did boomers do the fucking... I reckon even Zoomers wouldn't be able to do that shit. There was that 10-year period where you had to be pressing numbers and learning a new system of communication, which was like the weird predictive text that those flip phones had.
T9.
Dude, is that what it's called?
T9, yeah. I never got it, but some kids were flying through T9, just ripping out text messages.
For real, and those people, they got the most bitches. That's because you learn a new language. Dude, you're talking 45 cents a text, and you're
when the unlimited text, the golden era was unlimited texting pre-smartphone. I think it was just like 3 or 4 years. It was really short, but yeah, like that point where it was just like. And you had the real buttons on your phone, and you could text someone in your pocket by tapping the numbers over and over, and you would only pull it out to make sure the message was good and send it. Like, yeah.
Dude, and Angela Merkel, she goes home and in her drawer desk, there's an unopened BlackBerry, and she's just like, nah, I don't think take off. I don't want the letters. Why did I load this system if I got the letters?
Dude, or she's a BlackBerry loyalist, and she has like 5 of them in the desk, so in case one breaks, she can keep using a BlackBerry.
Yeah, dude, bring back the BlackBerry as a status symbol.
Dude, are they still around?
Surely.
All right, well, they have a website.
Get a website, though. Yeah, I think she's locked down. I think she's a bit of a, she's not a subtweeter, but she is like definitely a retweeter with a little bit of a comment. We need to hear this right now. This is important. Ooh. This sort of,
period.
Yeah. Just clapping. That sort of shit. And she's locked down. But she's like fancy mansion lockdown, where she's like, we all need to be at home. It's like, yeah, you have 19 rooms. It's like you can go outside and still be inside. You know, like lockdown is nothing for you, right? So there's no sacrifice to your lockdown.
Yeah. I will say also, love lockdown. Love it. It's like a little treat at this point. It's just the best. You know, you get to stay home. Dude, I've just been chugging through anime. Chilling so hard. It's the best. Love it. Even in my tiny New York apartment.
Yeah. You watch like 25 hours of machining tutorials and then be like, I don't think it's for me. I get a lot of the words now. I understand like the language that they use, but I'm never gonna do this.
Dude, that's me with these like Gundam videos. I'm like building these Gundam models, and I'm like, maybe one day I'll get around to airbrushing one of these. I watched 10 minutes of airbrushing videos, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking own an airbrush. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
it's like getting a dog. It's just so much. It's like, yeah, I like building things. I like painting things. Do I love painting things enough to get a metal dog that you have to clean out its insides every time you use it? No. Mainly I don't want a compressor, but I feel that. Do I love this hobby enough? Not enough to become a machinist. All right. And speaking of people who, this next guy coming to the stage watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to run a country. Give it up for Muammar Gaddafi. I'd say, okay, top left slam dunk.
Yeah, he's also like, I'm just thinking he's 100% a reply guy. And what he is a horny Instagram thing. He's the guy like in like an influencer who has like 1 million comments. He's writing, "What are you doing, baby? Like, what are you up to later?" Like, it's just buried in there.
Just, are you in North Africa? Question mark.
Yeah. He's a person donating to lives. Yeah, super spreader, reply guy, for sure.
Yeah, just like the purest raw form of reply guy, just like horny reply guy.
Yeah, I respect that. And then in terms of the super spreader, who would want to cover up that mug with a mask? Is what he's saying.
I just thought of a piece of merch that I feel like I could make a lot of money on. It's a t-shirt or a mug, and it's a CDC, but it's can't do crap. I'd make millions. Yeah. Gaddafi would be fully super spreader. Like, I think March 2020, and he's like, well, I'm not going to cancel this pool party with all these models. Like, why would I ever
like, I washed my keys.
I had to fly them all in from New York City. I'm not going to not have the party.
Dude, I'm all about vintage pandemic aesthetic. Like, I've been washing my keys. I've been giving out masks for the healthcare. I can't wear masks. I'm giving them for the healthcare workers. Dude, like, that's my new aesthetic. 2020, it's like I'm throwing, like 2022 is 2020 again. 2022 is 2022. I'm gonna basically be following only old school approaches to the pandemic.
All right, name your top 3 canned foods right now. Go.
I think it's Edgel's corn. I think that stuff rules. Like a little canned corn. I think I also have a metric ton of chickpeas ordered. I actually ruined a supply chain. I single-handedly caused a supply chain shock from bulk ordering. Dude, yeah, that's the other thing. Bulk ordering, giving up my mask for the healthcare workers, and washing my keys. It's old school pandemic vibes, baby. The other thing is, what I'm doing is, I'm going to start tweeting out, where can you get toilet paper? Come on. Like that.
Anyway, have you guys seen Tiger King?
Yeah, dude. Tiger King, toilet paper, washing your keys, giving up your mask. Yeah.
And speaking of vintage pandemic core, this next guest followed all the rules and was on her rooftop at 6 p.m. every night. Give it up for Malala.
Malala, what up? She's like one of those reply guys, my least favorite probably, which is just some fucking person, some nobody with a master's, who's replying to like someone's rage tweet, being like, actually, if you look at the statistics, there's only a 9% chance of that happening. I've included a study for your education.
But go off.
I'm not reading a study.
I've included a study. I have a master's, but go off.
Yeah, I have a master's in this, but go off. What's like, who are you? This person is famous on Twitter for yelling. And what you're doing is whispering a master's. It's not necessary. It's an annoying form of reply guy. Cut it out. She locks it down. I mean, yeah, I feel like she locks it down.
Yeah, this is like an actually reply guy. Actually, yeah, I have a master's. Malala full fucking lockdown. I think Malala is also the only person who attended all of her online classes that in the last 2 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the lecture is like, I didn't think anyone would show up. I guess we just go through it.
I guess I have to tutor you for an hour. And she presses the little raise hand button all the time on the Zoom call.
Dude, when we started this show, I wasn't like, we're like, oh, we'll make fun of these figures or whatever, and we'll riff. I didn't think like, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna like give the most shit to Malala. Like, she's gonna cop it the hardest.
Dude, I feel her psychic energy pulsing through the void. I now, like, after discussing her enough, I know exactly what she's like.
Yeah, like, I haven't cracked Hypatia yet. Like, she still seems like... Some people you just, like... Yeah, you kind of mate through this show.
Dude, I feel like... It's like, whenever I say Helen Keller from the last season, if I just say Helen Keller... I feel like my senses are overcome with this like spiky random ball of energy that I just like, I can't not laugh at it. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And like, the more we talk about these people, it just gets fucking burned in my brain. Okay, I've been watching a lot of Gundam, okay, and they have these new types, which are like psychic humans that are like raised in space, so they like develop extra senses, and they can like feel each other across any distance, and that's how I feel, but like through space and time. The more we invoke these people's names, the more their like energy gets defined, and I'm like, oh, that's what it was. Mark Twain was a fucking asshole, wasn't he?
Yeah, dude.
We're just reaching through time and space, invoking Rasputin.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark Twain just, yeah. Absolute edgelord. Comedian. I think I've met him. I think he's a Brooklyn comedian in universities.
Not a well-liked one. And speaking of not well-liked Brooklynites, give it up for someone whose movies I binged this Christmas. Give it up for J.K. Rowling.
Oh, yeah, dude. The thing is,
You go.
I was gonna say, the thing is, my initial reaction is reply guy, but I actually think she's like actually below the line, because she occasionally says something that's just fucked up, and so you think she's better at it. But I'm pretty sure it took her like 19 days to like figure out how to communicate that she hates trans people. Because it's like I don't think she's a big poster. I think she's below the line, more of a lurker than a reply guy. Just a lurker that occasionally drops bombs.
It's almost like she's like a secondhand lurker too. Like someone who works for her was like, hey, people on the internet are like calling you out for something you said a couple years ago. And she's like, people on the what? And then like, how do we...
People in Hogwarts?
How do I respond to them? And then the assistant has to be like, okay, let's log you into your Twitter. I have a what? Do you remember your password? Clearly it's Hedwig420.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, dude, she should have been like, to make up for all the inflammatory comments and harm that I've done, I'm adding weed to her, like to fucking Harry Potter. It's just like, I'm rewriting the books and they all just have weed and stuff. Will that help? And everyone's like, yeah, that's fair. That's even.
So my hot take lately is Harry Potter is a Christmas movie because they mention Christmas in every single Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I will say I don't like any Harry Potter after Harry Potter 4 and the Goblet of Fire, because I feel like it stops being about magic school and starts being about magic politics, and I want magic school. That's the best part about Harry Potter.
Dude, it's not even magic school. It's just like some private school where occasionally they do magic. It barely comes up, to be honest. Most of it is about going to Eton. Like, it's barely. Like, a guy gets a letter. He lives in a fucking under the stairs. He's like, I'm going to be with a bunch of rich snobs who occasionally like say a word. Dude, they get in trouble for doing magic more than they do magic. Like,
I guess you're right.
Yeah, but you're right. It does get more magical towards the end where they're flying around and there's a lot of politics. But yeah, it kind of does seem like Voldemort's a Tory. I think here, superspreader. I mean, we got in the chat, superspreader.
I think pandemic unaware. Like, I think she's just chilling in her house in like, is it like Scotland or whatever? I think it's just like she's not on the internet. She's just like hanging out, reading books in her nice little library room, and just for 2 years has not even known what's happening.
Just like, oblivious. Is there a spell that makes you oblivious to shit?
Obliviate makes you forget stuff.
Obliviate. Dude, that sucks. That's a lazy spell. She's bad at writing. The fuck? Obliviate. Try once. Obliviate? Dude, that's just a word. Imagine Hermione. Dude, in the first one, imagine Hermione gets out her wand, there's a locked door, and she's like, open.
Obliviate, compared to the other spells, is pretty lazy if you think about it. Like, to kill someone, it's Avada Kedavra. It's not like die or something,
trying
you know?
Too hard. Yeah, that's trying too hard, though. And it sounds too much like abracadabra.
It also sounds like my hometown, Arvada, Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. There's something going on. I don't know. Obliviate. Is it Obliviate?
Obliviate.
Oh, it's a little better. Yeah. Okay, oblivious to social media. Just we'll come up with a better name.
She was totally in that Gal Gadot Imagine video. And she was just like, her assistant was like, the celebrities want you to sing Imagine with John Lennon. Like, okay, what is this for? You know, like, okay, it's going on the internet. It's going on the where?
Yeah, on what?
What?
On a paper napkin where I wrote Harry Potter. Is that the internet? Fuck off. Dude, yeah, paper isn't that expensive. A paper napkin's the same price as paper, basically. No reason for you to do that.
And speaking of napkins, coming in napkins, give it up for Sigmund Freud.
Okay. No one said that. Dude, motherfucker's lurking in people's brains. Or is he a reply guy to your own ego?
I feel like incel reply guy. He's the guy, like, a woman posts a screenshot on Twitter of a conversation, and he's the charge your phone guy. Like, charge your phone.
Yeah, and then screenshots that, uploads it to his, like, incel forum, asks for criticism and critique of his negging strategy.
We got a uncomfortable reply guy. A reply guy where you're more embarrassed for him. Like, even if he replies to you, you're not even annoyed. You're just like, whoa, dude.
Oh, shit, dude. That's that. Yeah, it's like, that's a strange line of thinking, let alone comment. You're on a weird path mentally. Every reply he does, you kind of see it, and you're like, oops. Oops. Shouldn't have done that. Oh my god, yeah, I feel, and then lockdown-wise, dude, I feel like he's an he's a anti-masker, a anti-vaxxer, anti-masker, but also his lifestyle means he barely gets out, so he kind of does.
Ooh, he's kind of like on the right here. He's like just over the line.
Dude, he's planning hikes like that. He's never been hiking, and then he's planning hikes just because he learned about the mandate. He's like, all right, I was meant to go on a hike, so I'm going to go out and do that. And they're like, actually, hiking's fine. He's like, okay, well, good. And now he's on this proud hike through the wilderness where he only went because he thought he was breaking a mandate, which he wasn't. And then on the hike, for the first time, he sees a sunrise, and it changes him forever. That's my little understanding.
He decided he wanted to go on a hike, and he went to a forestry service building on March 1st, 2020, got a bunch of maps, and spent his whole lockdown highlighting trails on these maps.
Oh.
He's like, I'm planning a hike. And they're like, Sigmund, you've highlighted 100 miles of hiking. Like, you can't do this. And then he's got to follow through at the end.
Yeah, what's that follow through, Freud? Dude, imagine the socks hiking with garters and like academic socks, and he's got those little
garters. Like leather shoes with like wooden soles.
That's how people used to hike, dude. They used to hike fancy and then just like sketch animals. Oh, we should do Darwin. We haven't done Darwin yet. We should do Darwin.
Ooh, Darwin would be a good one. You know who also is a good one? Local legend, town favorite, Calamity Jane. I'm feeling very top left energy.
I actually don't think she's ever replied to anyone on Twitter. I think she just turns up to their house and shoots them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, not a online reply guy, but someone who sits in a bar by themselves, orders a beer, and then is always eavesdropping and giving her 2 cents on other people's conversations.
I actually kind of respect that. Like, it's sort of the drunk at the corner of the bar who's just like hunched over sipping whiskey and then chimes in. That's not the worst way to be. That's not a terrible modality. Is the reply guy just the online version of that? If it is, I got a newfound respect for reply guys. It's like, given my
reply guys are just barflies.
Oh yeah,
barflies are.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, give it a 2 cents. Yeah, and then in terms of, I feel like it's a little the opposite of Freud, where she does respect, let's just get this COVID thing over and done with. Let's all do the right thing. But her just yearning for adventure and duels constantly drives her to break mandates.
She's always like, even when everyone is masked up in the bar and pulling down their masks just for like sips, she's going full no mask, talking way too close to people. Like, oh no, you mean well, but
it sucks that like you can't be a frontiersman anymore. Like it's never gonna be. If you ever get a wiki bio, like it's never gonna show up. Maxim Allen, frontiersman, raconteur, comedian, lost comedian. Dude, should we just like walk to LA with guns and just like assume everything we see is like part of a perilous trail to yeah.
Now that's comedy. You know what I was thinking about the other day? I think it's hard being a comedian now because 10, 20, 30 years ago, the general populace was all stiff and like polite and didn't want to say things, and comedians like actually said what people were thinking. And I think now it's hard to be a comedian because everyone is funnier than everybody's parents and everybody's grandparents right now. Like everyone is so much funnier and overstimulated that it's hard to like match that. Like
I
comedy,
get where you're coming from. I just don't find people funny. I get like people are trying harder. Yeah, I get that. There's a lot more jokes. There's a lot more joking around. A lot of funny bits. But as someone who, like, in my life, I'm actually like quite serious in a lot. Like, it pisses me off when people are joking around all the time. Like, and I don't get, like, you're not doing a proper bit. You're just half committed to some ironic bullshit. I'm like, okay, but shut the fuck up. Like, I'm trying to get fishing gear. I don't know why I picked fishing gear, but you know, I'm trying to function in this world, you know, and it's hard enough already without me trying to decide whether you believe what you've said or you don't believe it and you're making fun of that take, or whether you're making fun of the idea of making fun of that. That's too much thinking. Can we just do the transaction?
I've been thinking lately, I think the next best thing after comedy is just earnesty. I think that's why people love podcasts, is because they just like people just talking about shit for real and not dicking around too much.
When you consider that most people are going to meekly perish, you know, it puts a lot in context. You must be brave in this life. That's the only way to have an honorable, bold death. People need to get better at punchlines and deliveries. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lazy writing in normal conversation. For real.
Speaking of meekly perishing, but very exciting conversation, give it up for Nostradamus. Dude, this guy perished like a mouse in a wall. I think insane lurker energy.
Yeah, like he somehow, that's where he came up with his predictions. He's on like modern day Twitter, but just like, what, 600 years ago or whatever. And he's just like, what is this? You know, what is all that? Why is that frog racist? What the hell? Is that frog racist?
Jeez. He's like, is it Neuromancer or All Tomorrow's Parties? I forgot which one it is. It's like a book by William Gibson about, like, it's like cyberpunk, but they have people who like can predict like nodal points in the future by like analyzing all the data around them constantly and then predicting years when like big turning points happen. Like they don't know exactly what it is, but they can predict like cultural shifts. But yeah, I'm thinking that Nostradamus, I think he just looked at enough woodcuts that he could predict something that might happen. He just like, he looked at enough like woodcuts in churches of like medieval scenes and he was like, I could probably guess what happens later. All these stories are kind of similar.
So yeah, I think wicked lurker there. Let's have a think about. He actually perished on a 12-week bender while reading through documents in the Vatican. Yeah. Dude, getting drunk on Vatican wine and just reading scripture, dude, like 400 years ago, that's like goals. That's like, you're basically fat fire. It sucks. Like, you know, all of my dreams, you can't do. I can't be a frontiersman. I can't get drunk on Vatican wine and read through Holy Scripture with like this part of my head shaved for some reason. You know, what is that? A Franken monk? Franciscan monk? Is that it? I can't do that. I gotta do Excel. That's my life. And Nostradamus gets to just vaguely say something that sounds like 9/11, and he's like, you know, one of the greatest hip hop artists of all time for that, basically.
I was thinking today, it's kind of fucked up that I have to make content to feel okay with myself. I'm like, why can't I just be like a simple farmer? Why can't I just lower my standards for living and just like tend to 1 acre of food and then just be fine, you know?
That's like just your family worth of food. Like, you account for like crop volatility. There's just suddenly, no, your crops don't grow. And you're like, well, of course, we're fucked. All right, where is he?
I'm a simple man.
Is he alone?
Dude,
now?
I think he might be a bottom right slam dunk.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it is true.
Gaddafi and Nostradamus were actually linked spiritually in their polar opposite. Yeah. Gaddafi conquered Libya actually in search of Nostradamus and where he was hiding.
Yeah, dude. Nostradamus is in a like little Sadam Hussein hole. Just with red wine and quills.
Dude, Nostradamus is like fully like forgotten in a game of hide and seek when he was like 9. Speaking of little hidey holes in the ground, give it up for Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, good. Okay, good.
Yeah, dude, you definitely want to read Neuromancer, though. That dude invented the Matrix, the concept of the Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah, you sure that wasn't Descartes?
All right. Dude, I took Philosophy 101 and in college because I had to. And I remember my professor was this really excitable, like, I think he was French. But he was like, the evil demon. What if the evil demon is fucking with my brain?
Yeah, what if he's fucking with me? What if his name is Agent Smith? What if when they shoot a gun, you can bend backwards? This is what Descartes said.
Descartes predicted certain Mr. Anderson would come and save the world, and the creative space for the programs and the humans alike.
And then, something, second movie, third movie, where a lot happens. It's pretty cool, but I don't know what it was. Lurker, super spreader, I feel like he's somewhere here. It's easy.
I think a gentle lurk.
Yeah, he doesn't talk that much. He's like, what did they say? What did they? It's like, what? Yeah, dude, he's like asking, like he's got a girlfriend who's huge on social media, and he's there, I guess, reading a book or just censoring a book. He's there just censoring Western media himself. That's his favorite part of the job, to redistribute. And he's just looking up. He's like, "What did they say online about me? What did they say?" Like that. And that's a form of lurking where, yeah, it's that secondhand lurking. And then super spreader. Yeah, I mean, what was the story on the chemical weapons? Those were lies. Oh, that happened. What was that again? What was that? You know,
chemical weapons were true. WMDs was false.
But the story about taking the babies out of the incubators, that was a lie too. They paid those people to cry. Yeah, I haven't heard that one. This is how numb the public is, dude. We're like, at the time, it's like the biggest like lie by the U.S. government in like so long, and then now we're like, well, what was the story in that? Did that happen? How did that plot go? What happened at the end of Babe? Did Babe live? The spider died. Yeah, but dude, he's he's probably giving his own people. We
lied about nukes to invade a country and we just moved on. Now we're like, oh, dude, Brooklyn and Queens are going to be connected by a new train.
Yeah, dude. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. What is that? What train? They run out of letters?
They're I don't know what they're calling
doing symbols now. The Batman symbol.
Yeah. They're putting it's going to connect basically like South Brooklyn and outer Brooklyn up to like Queens. Like it's going to go through Broadway Junction up, but it uses Long Island Railroad tracks, so they don't have to dig a tunnel. It's just going to be another train. Big win.
Dude, we need more trains going through Broadway Junction just so that place can be more fucked up.
I want Broadway Junction to be 19 stories high, and each floor is a new train track.
Dude, I want to somehow connect South Chicago, like Chicago, to like Israel, like just or an active war zone, and just have that go through Broadway Junction. We just need more controversy at that train station. Yeah.
Southside Chicago to Broadway Junction, but the train goes through Jerusalem.
Yeah, but I reckon here, dude, he's in a like little hole. Maybe we should draw a little hole as well.
You think he's a super spreader still in the hole?
Yeah, I think he gives people he just actively gives people COVID. It's intentional super spreading. That might even be wicked super spreader.
Malicious super spreading.
What's a good hole sort of graphic? This is the hardest part of my job, dude. Figuring out how to draw a hole. God damn. I'm stuck. I give up. Imagine it. If you're here on the stream, you get it. If you're not, then you will never understand. That's the opinion.
And speaking of people you would never understand, everyone please give it up for Caligula. Horseshoe, full lockdown. But within his lockdown, it is a super spreader event.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I need all these people in my compound so I can fuck them.
I want 19,000. I want to lock down with 19,000 bitches, and it's like, look at that's not a lockdown. It's an enormous festival. Like, yeah, it's a lockdown. I'm actually doing the right thing. I'm actually being very responsible. You know.
Yeah. So Horseshoe definitely.
Yeah, and then in terms of reply guy and that, I mean, Yeah, he's kind of like that. Yeah, I don't think he is. Yeah, I don't know if he is that much of a reply guy. I feel like people that powerful gets his slaves to do it. Oh yeah, I see that. Based off vibe lurker. Yeah, I see that as well. I can see that sort of lurking.
Same thing as Gaddafi, right? He's basically stalking Instagram models. He's lurking. He just gets his soldiers to go abduct them. Like,
yeah,
no...
I think the thing is he's way more of a swipe up, fire react to someone's story he doesn't know because they're a good sort of person than a Gaddafi who's literally like, baby, you're in North Africa, baby, you like golden AKs or like whatever it is, this sort of thing. Like Gaddafi's shooting his shot all the time, whereas Caligula is just like, yeah, I mean that might be where he is, you know, indirect reply guy like Perp said. And also, it's easier to leave him where it is. So you already placed down 3 objects. We've got those horseshoes and him. Now we're going to move all that? We're not going to move all that. That's where he is.
There we go. All right, coming up next, we have someone who saw the Gal Gadot Imagine video, early pandemic core, and thought, that's nice. Good for them. The little people could use this. Coco Chanel.
Oh, yeah, straight up. Let me think. I think it's somewhere here. I think it's somewhere over here. I think just being that rich. What do rich people use social media? Like super rich? Like is Elon Musk on like, is there a new Facebook that like costs $1 million to enter? Like it's like Discord, but like it's just, they've gone back to IRC. Dude, super rich people are texting on the flip phones. That's what they're doing. Yeah, but I feel like she's somewhere here. I mean, she's wearing a mask that's useless. It's like with the mouth cut out.
It's just like a beaded veil.
Yeah, she's wearing a beaded veil. That's hilarious.
I part of me feels like bottom left slam dunk. Like, keeps quiet, kind of watching and observing and stuff. New Year's Eve, people are like, don't go out. It's like it's spiking COVID. It's dangerous. Don't go out. And she's watching everything happen. She doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
She is tagged in 100 photos that night.
This is, yeah, you're right, because this is what happens. She's like never posts anything, never retweets, never replies. You go to her like likes or whatever, and there's 40,000 tweets or something that she's liked. So she's constantly on it. And yeah, and it's the sort of person that when she's like, when you're like, hey, you can't go out, she's like, hey, like, I get we're all scared right now and it's a really difficult time, but that doesn't like give you the right to like use your privilege to bully me. Like, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is a public health concern. She's like, yeah, well, you know, actually I'm neurodivergent and going and doing ketamine in this club is really important for my own growth. But I appreciate what you said. Must go out. Yeah.
Claiming neurodivergent oppression in order to go to a super spreader. Speaking of tagged in no photos on New Year's Eve, give it up for Ayn Rand.
New Year's what? Never been. Yeah, I didn't even know people celebrated. Damn, it's sad. Super reply guy and super spreader next to Gaddafi on the right, in between Gaddafi and Rand. Actively goes out to libertarian, civil, freedom fighter protests. Stands there.
Nice.
Reply guy with just some of the worst talking points that the Koch brothers have personally faxed her.
Yeah, this is a January 6th character.
You know the show January 6th? It's like Euphoria. It's got Zendaya in it.
Crazy thing about the Russians.
January 6th high school. Yeah.
Something I learned about Russians recently, speaking of New Year's. Eastern Europe and Russia, they have 2 Christmases and 2 New Years because they used to be on the Julian calendar and then they moved over to the other calendar. So they are the main one. I don't even know what the name of our calendar is. The regular one. And so basically they just take
Gregorian.
A solid 2 Gregorian. Okay. So they just take off 2 solid weeks. They celebrate New Year's and Christmas twice in 2 weeks and they just chill the whole time.
Dude, that's it. Wait, so they got 2 Christmases, 2 New Years, and 1 brand new shiny Ukraine. They got everything over there. Russia's got everything, dude. Let's move to Russia. This show would be banned there. Not because of censorship. Not because it's just not manly enough. We'd have to hunt bears at some point. Wacky orthodox.
Wacky orthodox shit. And speaking of someone who beat the Russians, give it up for Hirohito.
Dude, this guy lurks with such rage. Like, he's like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, extreme lurker. I mean, look, I want to do him dirty because I don't appreciate or respect him. But I actually think he's kind of with us. Like, just from his vibe, this is the guy who, like, I feel like I'm texting, he's like, is everything safe? He's like, yeah, I've got it locked down. Just been keeping myself, let's hope this thing ends soon. And ... This is what it doesn't say, so we can expand the Japanese race to conquer the world. That's what he...
Japan is locked down, so everybody else, if all the other countries die, at least Japan will remain.
Yeah.
It'll be easier to conquer if they're all sick.
Yeah. So, I don't know, like, there's some of that authoritarian responsibility here. Like, because authoritarian countries tend to do quite well in this pandy, don't they? Because you can just move people.
You can just be like, fucking cut it out. Go inside. And speaking of shook, this guy shook his hunting partner all night long. Give it up for Dick Cheney. Dude, boomer reply guy.
The best kind. I actually... I respect that.
He just, like, sees a picture of literally a suggested friend on Facebook, goes to her profile picture, and just types beautiful, period. Elegant, period.
And just overshares with a political opinion on Twitter or something. It's like...
Hits women with your husband's a lucky man.
Out here literally planning super spreader events. Like, it's that sort of Republican like thing of making fun of the pandemic so like on the nose. They're like, oh, we're throwing a super spreader Christmas party, you gotta come, don't forget to bring your mask, haha. And it's like, okay. Although that is kind of cool when you think about it, just such nihilistic indifference to certain death.
It's been cracking me up. The fucking Let's Go Brandon people. It's like there was a newscast several months ago of like some local sporting event. I mean, I think like it might have been like a college football game. Newscaster is interviewing someone on the field, or it might have been a kid, and the crowd is chanting, and she's like, you know what? Oh, you hear them? They're chanting your name. They're chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." The crowd was actually chanting, "Fuck Joe Biden."
Oh,
so now, like some Trumpies are like saying "Let's go, Brandon" all the time because they're like, we can't say "fuck Joe Biden," so it's code, it's funny. And then like CNN is like, "Let's go, Brandon" is so dangerous. And then literally 90% of people are like, this isn't funny and it's fucking stupid. Like it's like a weird Joe Biden thing where it's like nobody likes Joe Biden, but nobody like it's not a problem. I don't know.
Dude, this is actually this is the problem, right? Is like you're talking about it's hard to do comedy now because like everyone's funny. I reckon it's like you just told me a story, right? And I heard it was like there were two sides, but there were like 20 opinions sort of, and I had no take left.
Day one was funny, and then the rest of it was like, like.
Dude, that's the problem. Everything's a dramedy now. Everything's like a dark comedy where it's like, you know, it's like, oh, it's like the, you know, Let's Go Brandon plus the lore of the dystopian Joe Biden administration where you can't say words. Dude, they're doing a serious reboot of Fresh Prince. Like, fuck off. Like, what? Or it could be good. I don't know.
Speaking of dramedies, our next guest coming to the stage is the king of dramedy. Give it up for Henry VIII.
Full on, I don't know. I think he's, Henry VIII, bit of a reply guy, a bit of a witticism. He comes back with two lines of a sonnet that show these folk are educated. They got like personal tutors who teach them in the art of witticisms and fierce remarks to defy your foe.
He's hitting models with lines from books, then going, that's from a book.
Yeah, it's from
Can
a fucking
you read?
book.
Can you read?
Yeah, you're hot, but I just fucking quoted a book. What's up with that? We going out?
You own a printing press? Didn't think so.
Dude. That's like the original BlackBerry, right? Everyone else is handwriting things. They text him like this, the printing press. It's like, oh no, I just press the individual buttons and I make millions of copies of a book. Straight up. Yeah, like I mean, he did get, like people always talk about how he killed his wives, but they don't talk about how he got his wives. You know what I mean? So like he's a bit of a Chad, and it's through his social media witticisms, his ability to, you know, quote books off the top of his head. Who doesn't like books? He's got like this Alex Jones, like, you know, fat, strong body that I think.
Yeah, yep.
I'm actually, since I started watching like The Sopranos, that's hot. You know, being fat and strong is hot. There's some security to it. You like food, and you're like a bear. There's nothing wrong with that.
Being a powerful bowling ball of a man.
Yeah, you know, and it's just like, he doesn't take himself, there's no sculpture here. It's just someone who, let's think, lockdown, super spreader. I have no strong feelings here. I can imagine, it's like kind of the same thing with, I forget who he said had 19 homes, but it's kind of like that. I think it's J.K. Rowling. Yeah, black guy who turns fast from witty to creepy aggressive. Yeah, right? Just like...
She doesn't reply, and he's like, "You're ugly."
Yeah.
I'll behead you at the castle.
I'll behead you. It's like, that's such a weird comment. No, he literally does that. I've heard about that guy. Yeah. And in terms of super spreader, I reckon he's just around there, dude. He's just like a bit of a centrist when it comes to that. Like politician. You know how all our politicians, they just like can't seem to fucking stay locked down, and yet that's all they talk about. So it's like that.
He's kind of like, he is in and out. Like coronavirus happened, he just lived his normal life until his advisors were like, you got to stay inside just for like a couple days. Just a couple days, please.
And he's like, no, of course, yeah. And that would be, so I'll just go out, I'll just transfer between homes. We'll just like, I'll get my jet and I'll just stay between my 4 homes. Like, now you got to pick one. He's like, okay, we can do that. Doesn't do it. Yeah.
Can we go to the baker on the way? No. Oh, no baker. Okay. All right. And speaking of baking, just kidding. Speaking of England, give it up for our next guest, Florence Nightingale, top right, slam dunk. This is the person who OG Corona Core. Like, this is the person who is blowing other people up and shaming them on social media for what they're doing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're going to the
social media influencer. Yeah, social media influencer just for the pandemic. Just for the pandemic.
Yes.
TikTok who are like, I'm a virologist, and here's 5 quick facts to help you stay safe during the Omicron spike. And then, occasionally gets like 1 million and then down. And then, because like, this is what happens, right? Because all that, I care about virology 1% of the time now and 0% of the time outside of the pandemic. Like, so that's the sort of traffic you're getting. When I get afraid that everyone's going to die, that's when I care about virology. Every other time, I don't want to know the word. It sounds scary, boring, and long. And so that's how, and you're seeing the same sort of traffic around those trends. So yeah, slam dunk, top right reply guy, pandemic influencer. Shame.
That's like Henry VIII is watching her videos occasionally to drop it on women in their replies. Be like, have you read up on any virology?
Yeah, dude. Henry VIII is literally like doing a video with her, like, hey, I got Henry VIII here, hey. And it's just like, his staff is like paid Florence to be in the video, and she's like, it would be good, it would get the word out there.
Yeah, Florence Nightingale is like every other day dropping a vid on YouTube. It's like what you can do to help healthcare workers. 10 things you need to know before riding the subway. I just can't stand these people going to the grocery store. And speaking of early pandemic-core, give it up for the early pandemic-core icon, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Surprisingly, for a judge, not very much a reply guy. I feel like a very quiet person.
Yeah, like an occasional subtweet that's too vague to do any damage.
a subtweet that's so vague, you read it and you're like, is this about me?
Yeah, it's just, what the fuck is this about me? Is this just about all human folly? It's like, yeah, she's going from like parody to satire. It's like, oh, this is just, yes, the person she's subtweeting is like, that's very funny. That person must suck.
Just awful subtweets. Subtweets, but like, I'm guessing full lockdown.
How did she die? Do we know?
Regular.
She died regular style?
Yeah. She perished meekly. Meekly perished.
She meekly perished?
Dude, it's like, isn't it like you just fucking, alright. People, there is just like a regular die, right? Like you just shut down. Like that happens.
Or does everyone die?
Or does everyone always die of like a heart thing or a brain aneurysm or something? Or
yeah, I think regular is just your heart stuff.
Oh, she had cancer. She had pancreatic cancer.
Oh, that's not regular, dude. That sucks.
I thought she just died in her sleep like old people do. I stand corrected. I apologize to everyone.
A dream too scary to stand. So you gotta practice.
Dude, she died in her dream, so she died in real life.
How could you have that information?
Oh man, I feel bad. Dude, this episode is gonna get out. This is gonna bite my ass in 20 years. I feel it.
Oh yeah, dude. That's what they call canceling in 20 years. Everything's just gotten so like weird and kitschy. It's like Maxim Allen has just had his ass bitten.
They'll be like, well, who is that guy? Like, he's got a podcast and like.
Oh, he's a frontiersman. He owns a printing press.
I was the first to lug my printing press across the Rockies, actually.
Dude, that'd kind of be a sick story, right? It's a guy with a cart and it's just a printing press and he's just running up and down the hills.
Dude, no. I wouldn't fucking cross the Rockies ever. Even in Colorado, when you drive up the highway into the mountains, the first mountain town, it feels like it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes into the mountains. And the reason why is because it's fucking impossible to get up there. Like, if there was no road, you'd be like, oh, this is impossible. There's no way. Let alone bringing a printing press? Unheard of. And speaking of guys who benefited from the printing press, our next guest coming to the stage loves a good reply. Vladamir Lenin.
Dude, this is the person who's like doing a 3-hour fucking... So there's a tweet and he does a 3-hour Twitch stream breaking down the philosophy of that tweet. And I'm watching that shit, but at the same time, I don't care for it. I'm watching the whole 3 hours, but I don't care for it. I don't think it's necessary.
He fully misinterprets an RBG subtweet to be about him. 3-hour reply to the subtweet that's not about him.
Yeah. And basically somehow Lenin has decided that whatever that tweet is about happens to be about the book he's currently reading. Just, how convenient is that? That tweet falls right into the philosopher that I'm currently reading. Yeah, dude. Read fucking fiction. How about that? How about read Moby Dick instead of like another fucking 900-page book about abstract, non-human concepts that just vaguely pass to anyone who hasn't read the other 40 books that relate to it. I don't know.
I think such a reply guy.
Yeah.
Like so hard. Just and only in the sense of like you say something to him in passing, he's making a YouTube story time like I was assaulted verbally on the street type video.
Yeah, story time. Yeah, dude. I basically got murdered through vocabulary. That's what happened. Yeah, and then in terms of super spreader lockdown,
Oh, we got KJ in the chat. I don't get why you do this shit.
Yeah.
But Lenin, okay, modern day Lenin, he is an essential worker who is coordinating a strike in April 2020, and it's a super spreader, but he is like, these conditions are bad. I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit. All right, and coming up next, we have the flagship character of the episode. Everyone give it up for Abraham, and the survey says...
Oh, overwhelmingly super spreader. Everyone, almost everyone.
Whoa.
There's like just an insane amount of super spreading. Yeah, I agree with that. Look, dude, this guy is the sort of guy who super conservative, basically immigrant, who's coming in, who's not understanding the medical communication that the state has provided, or like any really of the like. He's the guy who's asking his like brother, like, what do we do with the pandemic? And that's his only source. He's like, what do we do? What are we meant to do? And he's like, his brother's like, wash your keys. So okay. So he's trying to go into a store, and they're like, so you need to put on a mask. He's like, fucking why? What is going on? I don't understand. He trusts revealed divine. There's two sources for this guy's information: directly from God, from a family member. That's it. Like it's either my brother tells me or the Lord does. Other than that, I don't know. I don't fucking read books or watch the news. And maybe he's right. Reply guy, nah. Retweet guy only.
Ooh, yeah.
He's
Yeah, I like that. He's a retweet only guy. Yeah, it's something about being out in the desert forever. Not going to be good for your pandemic awareness. Coming up next, we have the legendary, the great Catherine, I think a lurker. I think lurk celebrity
Screenshotter, I think.
Ooh, a screenshotter. Yes. I love the screenshot energy. Catherine is the one who gets the replies. Yes, that's a good angle. She has orbiters and reply guys, and she's like screenshotting the crazy shit they say to her and just showing people at the palace, like, can you believe this?
Yeah.
Catherine, screenshotter. Lockdown super spreader.
I think gentle super spreader, just from that sort of elite thing. Being in castles. Look, we got a bit of a castle core thing going on here, where these people.
Oh, it's a pod. They have like a lockdown pod, and it's just her and all her servants.
It's a fancy name for what is an informal polycule, where basically the elite will pick who they'll be having sex with from their servants.
And speaking of the elite and polyamory, give it up for Henry Ford.
Dude, he's a snarky corporate social media guy.
LinkedIn reply guy.
Oh, LinkedIn. Oh my God.
Love this post, Jeff. Very inspiring.
And also corporate lockdown guy. Right? It's just like, we're all doing our duty, guys. Thanks. The work from home is hard, but we're getting it done. And we're just out here to build more cars. So I have sent each and one of you car parts to construct Fords at home. And then can you imagine if they did that? They just FedEx each other. They're done.
One of the when it was like we're gonna have a Zoom happy hour, guys. On Fridays, we're all gonna get together on Zoom and do face to face. We're gonna turn our cameras on Fridays. I am fully thriving with just cameras off, work from home. Fully thriving.
He's an active linker.
Active linker, dude. I knew a dude I went to college with who never posts on Facebook. Posted on Facebook for the first time in 5 years and was like, "Hey, I'm deleting my Facebook. If you want my email, here it is. You can also find me at LinkedIn." Dude, at the time it's like we're 26. Like, you shouldn't be telling people to find you on LinkedIn first. Like,
yeah, I mean, posting about leaving social media is the worst kind of post, I think. Just be addicted and just just take the blue pill on social media. Just doom scroll. Dude, if you can find a way to be basically Sisyphus when it comes to doom scrolling, if you can just push that boulder up and just doom scroll with this sort of, your dopamine is doing its own thing, but you've detached your own sense of joy and purpose from the neurotransmitters in your brain, and you just have sort of existential joy through doom scrolling. That's how you win. There's no other winning. You can resist, you can, basically you can throw your phone in the water, or you can doom scroll with joy.
It's such a base take. Just doom scroll it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
And speaking of doom scrolling, our next contestant read a lot of scrolls. Give it up for Hypatia.
Okay. Hypatia, you might think similarly to actually I have a master's, but I think what she does is she's drafting a fucking reply for 3 weeks just because she wants to make sure all the facts are correct, and then it doesn't even matter anymore. Who cares? Your reply doesn't matter. So she's down here, right? And she's not lockdowning that much, but just because she's in a locality where it doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah. I'd say she is the essence of like a Reddit post with sources. Like, overdue Reddit post with sources.
Yeah, I know this was 10 years ago, but I just wanted to correct you on a few things.
She would be one of those Ask Historians mods who just deletes every single comment on every single question until one that's like 100 pages long gets posted.
Sisyphus and Camus should be on a special episode together for the podcast. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Camus?
The guy who wrote The Myth of Sisyphus.
Oh, because I got a berry from the Amazon called Camus. Oh, Albert Camus? What? Wait, did he invent the Sisyphus thing? No, the Sisyphus thing.
Oh no, well, he didn't invent the myth. He's the one who wrote about. That was like the story I was saying before. Like, basically pushing the boulder up. That is your like sentence in life. But if you can imagine that person is happy,
yeah.
It's some French shit, dude. It's basically, if his name was Albert Camus, he would have had a fucking trucking job and been like a value to society. But it was Albert Camus, so he smoked cigarettes and talked shit.
You know how devastated I would be if Sisyphus was made up by someone in the 20th century? I'd be like, oh my god. Really?
Dude, imagine if your name was Maxim Allen.
Ooh.
What would you be up to?
I don't know, dude. The Russians are always like, Maxim, you speak Russian? Like, nah. And I go by Maxim. I actually worked in a department of 3 people once, and one of the other people was Maxim, and I was Maxim.
Yeah, dude. You got a strong name, dude. You got a name that just is like aphorisms, right? You got a name of how to live. It's a bold name.
Dude,
and,
I started going by it when I started doing stand-up comedy because I felt like Max is like a dog name or like a kid name, but Maxim is like, whoa. But also the order of magnitude and seriousness between those 2 names is huge.
Yeah, if you were Max, I think that'd be fucked up.
Yeah, be wrong.
All right.
This is such a even spread. This is just one scoop of jelly on like a piece of toast. Even distribution across this whole thing. Look at that.
Be here. If you're going to be somewhere, be with Hirohito, you know?
Stand with us.
Yeah, I think this is it. Just lurk, you know. We need a little bit more intimacy on the internet. Stay in your lane. If you're going to comment, make sure it's like you're part of that community. And if you're gonna sneeze on someone, make sure you're part of that community.
I feel like bottom right is the be this, and the I think like top right is like all these. This is like up here. It's like people who love following the rules, but in an annoying way.
Just like hall monitors.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Over here we got like this is like a full Capitol riot.
And there's sort of a Henry VIII to Coco Chanel. There's kind of a trend there, right? And even from Ford, maybe.
Let's see, Henry VIII to Coco Chanel. Yeah, there's kind of a descent as you become less and less British.
Yeah. Yeah, so what, Coco Chanel is less British than Sadam Hussein?
I think it's like you as you drink less tea, you stop replying.
These are sneaky people, and as they become quieter, they get away with spreading more COVID.
Yeah, it's like shut up and go outside.
Oh, this is the taking Maxim's advice: shut up and go outside line. Yeah, but no, I'll be putting this episode. I'll be putting this episode on YouTube, and check it out. Fixing the political compass on YouTube. And we'll start doing that. Check out Don't Quit Your Day Job. DQYDJ_pod. That's Maxim's podcast,
which now has a YouTube channel as well. Video episodes coming soon, but all the audio has been uploaded to YouTube. So go and subscribe.
And a lot of good stuff happening this year, people. So look forward to exciting new elements of this show. Yeah.